Welcome to the first video lecture on Module 3 of Basic Electrical. In this, we will be seeing phasor representation of alternating quantity. So we know that in an AC circuit, voltage and current are sinusoidal in nature. In certain situations, there arise need for representing the voltage across as well as the current through various elements, compare them and understand the relation between them. In such situation, representing them as a sine wave becomes complicated. So, for simplified representation of alternating quantity, phasor is introduced. So, what is a phasor? Phasor is actually a vector. That means it will be having both magnitude as well as direction. But the difference is that it can rotate about its origin. That is, it will always change its direction to which it is pointed. That is, it keeps on rotating or it keeps on changing the direction. So these phasors are mainly used to represent sinusoidal quantity. The length of the phasor gives amplitude of the wave, and the projection of phasor on y-axis will give the instantaneous value of the alternating quantity. And usually these phasors are rotating in the anti-clockwise direction. So if we have the phasor of an alternating quantity, we will be knowing what is its magnitude as well as what is the direction or the instantaneous value. Now let's see how we can represent a sine wave using a phasor. Here I am having a sine wave, that is A of t equal to am sine omega t plus phi. Here the value of phi is taken as 0 because the wave is starting from origin itself. Then here am that is the amplitude or peak of your sine wave. So assume that I want to represent this sine wave, the instantaneous value of this sine wave, as a phasor at the instant omega t equal to 30 degree. So we know that the length of the phasor that will always be the same, that is equal to the amplitude of your wave. That is, the length of the phasor will always be am. Then next we want to know what is the direction of your phasor. So here we can see that at omega t equal to 30 degree, the instantaneous value that is marked by this vertical line. Okay. And here we can see that the angle, the omega t value is varying from 0 to 30 degree. So similarly, this is your 0 point. From here we have to shift to 30 degree. That will give you the position of your phasor. And here we can see that this height or the projection of the phasor on the y-axis, that is equal to the instantaneous value of your sine wave. Okay, now if we want to draw the position of phasor at omega t equal to 90 degree, what you have to do? We have to rotate this. This is the 0 degree point. Then rotate this phasor 90 degree. So now my new phasor position is this one. So this phasor will represent your value of the sine wave at omega t equal to 90 degree. Right, instantaneous value is am. Here we can see that the projection on y-axis, that is the complete length of your phasor, which is equal to am. Now if you want to represent your phase at omega t equal to 0, 0 degree means that is your reference point or this point. Then the phasor will be this straight line. So here we can see that by this one single line or by this one single phasor, we can represent a complete cycle of the sine wave. Okay. So that is the advantage of a phasor. So next we can see how we can represent two waves using a phasor. So consider these two waveforms. One is drawn using a blue line and the second one is drawn using a green line. So by observation we can see that the green wave, that is 90 degree leading your blue wave. So first green wave is attaining the peak value. Then after 90 degree only blue is attaining the peak value. So we can say that the green wave leads the blue wave by 90 degree. So in this situation, how we can draw the phasor? So consider the blue wave. The blue wave is starting from origin. So let's take it as the reference phasor. Okay, so the reference phasor will always be drawn vertically. Drawn is represented by a horizontal line. So this is your phasor representing the blue wave. So here we can see that the projection of this phasor to the y-axis is 0. Similarly, at omega t equal to 0, the instantaneous value of blue wave is 0. Then at that time the green wave has already covered 90 degrees. So the green wave is rotated through a 90 degree. And the projection of the green wave on the y-axis, that is this height, that is the length of your phasor. So this will be the phasor representing the green wave. So here we can see that usually the phasors rotates in the anti-clockwise direction. So the green wave is having the maximum value, and after 90 degree what will happen? The blue wave will also have the maximum value. So this is how we can represent two sinusoidal quantities having a phase difference. Next, let's see how we can represent two quantities. First one is a voltage quantity, which is Vm sin omega t, and the second one is a current quantity, that is I equal to Im sin omega t minus phi. That is, current is lagging your voltage by an angle phi. Then the phasor diagram will be like this. This is your voltage phasor, Vm sin omega t. Then current phasor is lagging by an angle phi. So angle phi degree we have to rotate in the clockwise direction. Here this will be your current phasor. So lagging quantities will always comes in the below portion, and the leading quantity that will comes above your reference axis. So that is one thing that you have to keep in mind while drawing the phasor. Then next is forms of phasor representation. Earlier we have already seen the graphical representation of phasor. Now next we can see how can we write or represent these phasor. There are mainly two ways. First one is your using rectangular coordinate. In the rectangular form, a phasor which is having a magnitude V and is making an angle phi with the real axis, that can be represented in the rectangular coordinate as vector V is equal to A plus JB. Okay, so this is our phasor. Here my phasor is having a magnitude capital V and it's making an angle phi with your real axis, and the projection of the phasor on x-axis, that is A, and the projection of the phasor on the y-axis, that is B. Then in rectangular coordinates, we can write this phasor as A plus JB, where A equal to V cos phi and B is equal to V sin phi. Usually this rectangular form or rectangular coordinates, they are mainly used when we need to add or subtract two phasors. So next we can see how can we do the addition and subtraction in rectangular coordinates. Assume that I am having two phasors V1, which is represented as A1 plus JB1, and the second phasor is V2, which can be represented as A2 plus JB2. Then the sum of these two phasors, that is V1 plus V2, that is equal to A1 plus A2 plus JB1 plus B2. A1 and A2, they are the real parts, and B1 and B2 are the imaginary parts. So if we need to add two phasors, add the corresponding real parts as well as add the corresponding imaginary part. Similarly, for subtracting two phasors, subtract the corresponding real parts as well as subtract the imaginary parts. That means V1 minus V2 will be equal to A1 minus A2 plus J into B1 minus B2. Then second form of phasor representation, that is the polar form. So in polar form, a phasor V of magnitude capital V and making an angle phi with real axis can be represented in polar coordinates as, so this is a phasor, it can be represented as V equal to V angle phi, where capital V, that is the magnitude of your phasor, and phi is the angle it makes with the real axis. And the capital V, that can be written as V is equal to root of A square plus B square, and angle phi, that will be tan inverse B by A. Usually the polar coordinates that are used for multiplication as well as division of two phasors. So next we can see how we can multiply and divide two phasors. So assume that I am having two phasors. First one is V1 angle phi 1 and the second phasor is V2 angle phi 2. Then product of two phasors, that will be, you have to multiply the magnitude and add the phase angles, that is V1 V2 angle phi 1 plus phi 2. And the division of two phasors, that will be divide the magnitude, but in the case of phase angle you have to subtract it, that is V1 divided by V2 will be equal to V1 by V2 angle phi 1 minus phi 2. So that is regarding the phasor representation of alternating quantity. Hope everyone is able to follow it. Thank you.